Good afternoon, Fargo. My name is Tony Gehrig, Fargo City Commissioner, and this is your recap video for the November 7th Fargo City Commission meeting. I will try to keep this one short because as small as the agenda was, and it was pretty small, there were a lot of big topics on there that I want to discuss with you. So the first thing that you may or may not have seen in the paper because it was so poorly reported was the change order for City Hall. Basically, they want to add bigger windows in an attempt to make City Hall more iconic. These windows will cost $400,000, which is about just under $1 million. So when you hear the commissioners talk about $1 million for property taxes or anything else, it's about $460,000, $480,000. This was $400,000 that the commission voted in a 4-1 vote to increase the price tag. While I thought that we had an agreement last year, we had a 4-1 vote to approve the city commission, or excuse me, the city hall as presented. It was a $31.5 million building. We reduced that cost by about $9.5 million. We gave up some things to do that, but what we didn't give up was square footage, usable space. The functionality of that building was still superb. And now they're trying to Trojan horse more ways to spend money on the city hall. So I was disappointed in that. I made that known at the city commission meeting, and there's video of the city commission meeting on YouTube where you can see that discussion. All in all, this has passed, and I believe this is the first of many change orders that will come to make this building more expensive. So we dipped into our reserve, our contingency for the building in order to do that. So that means if something else goes wrong and something else costs more money, that we just got to find more money. So, while John and I asked to reduce property taxes by about $1 more this last time around for the 2017 budget, we were told that cutting that $400 and some thousand would sink the city. We were able always to find more money to spend. So that's the takeaway I take from this, and I'm very disappointed that this was a 4-1 vote that I voted against. The next thing is good news. Single sort recycling has been approved 5-0, so you should see some movement on that. We have to order the containers. We have to get them delivered to everybody. You have an opportunity to opt out if you don't want to do it. It'll cost you about $3 a month to do this. The good news is most of us have a $9 can right now. There's $6 cans available. So if you are recycling, you should be able to go to that smaller can, and this should be cost neutral for you. If you're elderly or disabled, or you just simply can't afford it, there are programs where we might be able to do this for you for $1 a month or something like that. So this is very affordable. It makes sense. This is one of those green things that absolutely makes sense for the city of Fargo because the less we put in the landfill, the more value we get out of that landfill. And those things are very expensive to run and operate. And to make a new landfill is very expensive, as we know right now, because that's what we're doing. So this is very positive news. I know my wife is very excited about this, and I think we'll get more participation. We have great participation now, but I think we'll get even more with single sort recycling. Another bit of good news is that the Ice Rink for downtown Fargo is coming back. And the best part about this is we found a private sector way to deliver this. So while the city is giving up space, when I always argue that city can participate in these things by giving space and giving opportunity, that's exactly what we're doing here. Gate City Bank and others are giving up money to put this ice rink downtown. It should draw good crowds of people down here, and it should be an excellent attraction for us to enjoy. So it's one positive thing here happening in the city of Fargo. I'm very excited about having that happen again here for us. We had another discussion about LSS. Again, it mainly came out negative. There was a lot of back and forth with that. Again, my position is it shouldn't be controversial to want a seat at the table. I believe that Dave has brought up some good questions. I believe John has some legitimate concerns. And I believe that all the commissioners simply want what's best for the city of Fargo. And what I think that is we have a seat at the table to decide how many refugees a year the city of Fargo brings in. That's not to say we're going to bring in less or more. It just means we'll have a discussion about what that is, and we'll flesh it out from there. Right now, we don't have that seat at the table, and it's dictated to us how many people we will receive. So I don't think that's controversial. I think most people can agree with that, and that's where I stand right now. I think that's a positive thing that has come out of this. So more to come on LSS. We have information coming to us. We have committees working for us, and I'm going to wait for more information to come. I'm not going to jump on a bandwagon and say this or that. I'm going to wait for that information to come, and hopefully the other commissioners will as well. I think that they will. A couple of ordinance variations that we had at the last meeting that I'm pretty happy about. One, there's a development called the Blue Water Creek development. It's on it's near 45th Street in Fargo. Basically, they want to add a driveway where you can turn right into it. If you're driving, say, south, you can turn right into it, and then to leave that, you have to turn right to leave it as well. So we call it a right in, right out. And right now, our ordinances say it has to be 600 feet between each entrance into a development. Well, that ordinance hasn't been followed for a very long time. There are numerous examples where people haven't been following it, and that's fine. I think that it's over restrictive to begin with. But this individual came to us and said, "Look, this makes sense for my community. This makes sense. This will draw more people in. You know, it's going to be a development. We want people to be there." And it turned out that in a 4-to-1 vote, the city commissions gave that variance up. And I think that this leads to a discussion of, are we being too restrictive with our ordinances? And I think in many situations you can point to yes, we are. And that ends up harming development. We as a city want to be pro-growth. We want to be pro-business. We want to be pro-housing. And our ordinances in many cases are exactly the opposite of that. So while we're giving up millions of dollars in incentives to get people to build here and there and do these other things, we can do simple things like make our ordinances broader, bring them to a point where they aren't so restrictive to kill businesses. And I think we're on the verge, or we're flirting with the idea of being anti-business with high taxes, a lot of laws saying here's what exactly you have to do. And I'm opposed to those things. And we'll have a discussion going forward of how to fix those small things. And another way I think we're doing that is with existing buildings. A man came to us who was just a homeowner who wants to build a shed. He wants to improve his home and make his home more valuable, but he was something like 2 or 6 or whatever feet too close to his home or whatever. He put the shed in the wrong spot, basically. So he asked for a variance to put it where his neighbors and him wanted. He went around to all his neighbors and asked for it to be put next to his house instead of behind his house. And all of his neighbors agreed with that because it's nicer to look at trees than to look at a shed. So he came to us with common sense and with the due diligence done to talk to his neighbors. And in a 5-0 vote, we approved to let that variance happen. And again, I want to see less restrictive laws on homeowners. I want to see you have the max freedom for property rights. I'm someone who believes strongly that your home is your castle, and as long as you're not affecting anybody else negatively, then you should be able to do what you want. But our laws are very restrictive. So those are the 6 things that we talked about at this last meeting. By all means, give me your feedback. We want to know, how you feel about the job we're doing. And thanks for watching the video. Please share it, and keep an eye out on how the City Commission is spending your dollars.